Show me a man's pantry, and I'll tell you all of his secrets. Since before we even moved to our new place, we've been having lots of discussions about why we do the things that we do. And over, every single discussion comes back to the common theme that it's all about sustainability.
As we've been setting up our new food storage, cold storage area, we've been having discussions about what our food goals are. And yet again, the reason behind a lot of what we want to do is coming back to sustainability again.
We've come up with three main topics that we want to explore, which is meat production, eating locally, and eating seasonally. So come along and join us. We currently eat meat, but we eat a reduced meat diet. It varies according to the time of year. More usually in the colder months and less in the summer months when we're eating more out of our garden. Our goal is that we'll be able to produce the majority of the meat that we as a family consume in the future.
There's debate around how sustainable meat consumption is, but for us personally, it feels like it's really important to any sort of agricultural system. And since we are in the process of trying to develop a farm, it just makes sense for us to also have, meat along with that.
Our plans include basically chickens and meat rabbits. So chickens for eggs, chickens for meat, and then rabbits for meat and rabbits for eggs.
I don't, and obviously rabbits also for knowledge, because apparently Ian needs to gain a little bit more.
It has been a while since I cooked any rabbit eggs. But.
Our property is really small, so even though we really like things like pork, we don't necessarily feel that we have the space to do it properly. Mm-hmm. But we feel really comfortable and confident that we'll be able to create good rabbit and chicken systems that'll work with everything and our space. So that's something that we're really looking forward to.
Yeah, totally. We've been talking about this for years. About chickens specifically, and
well,
rabbits as well. But rabbits were definitely not allowed in our previous zoning.
Yeah.
And now they are, so we're excited on that front.
Yeah, definitely.
Serena put herself through university without accruing any debt, and one of the major things that she learned while doing that is how to eat super cheap. And eating super cheap goes hand in hand with eating seasonally.
Yeah, surprisingly so. being very cheap is actually a very sustainable way of eating, because when you're eating what is in abundance, when what is currently ready for you where you are, it's also the most affordable things to eat. It's why strawberries in the middle of the winter are very, very expensive, but you can buy big buckets of them in early summer.
So get your fix in while you can.
We think that the eating seasonally is important too, because
if you're not eating seasonally, then you're eating food that's traveled across the world, right?
Yeah, or the labor that it takes to eat something that isn't seasonal is what we feel is unsustainable about it. You either need to be heating something in the winter to produce a summer crop, or it needs to be, getting shipped in from very far away.
Yeah. We hope that we won't have to do without too much, because we're going to be working hard to extend the season on both sides for a lot of the stuff that we grow. And then
we also preserve things in the season with canning and freezing and drying.
We've got 13 cherry trees on our property and another dozen fruit trees in the ground already. So we're going to have lots of delicious things growing, in amounts that we're not going to be able to consume at the time.
Yeah.
So there'll be lots of stuff to store and process in the future. And that will be what is the winter, sweet
winter season.
Yeah. So we do get to cheat a little bit, by doing it ourselves. But that's one of our goals, is to not buy things like blueberries in the wintertime and stuff, and to be able to be on the ball enough when that stuff is in season to process it so that we have it for later and that we don't have to, buy it at a more expensive and less efficient time.
Plus, food just tastes so much better when it's at its peak. And it only really is at its peak when it's in its proper season. Mm-hmm. Probably one of the biggest ideas, though, is eating local. That is probably the one that we are the most driven to do, and the one that we feel makes the biggest impact on the sustainability of how we eat. Mm-hmm. If you're not eating what's local to you, there's no getting rid of the inputs that have to be done to get that food to you. The travel, like having to pick it so far ahead, having to package it, process it, all those things. It's a lot of labor for something that we don't necessarily feel like needs to happen. Mm-hmm. There's no reason for us to be eating avocado toast as Canadians when, there's just butter.
Yeah. And this is one of the challenging aspects of sustainability is that what's local to some people isn't local to others. So there has to be so many different answers. There's so many different answers in so many different places, right? It all has to be kind of customized to the what's local to you, right? So there's no overarching, this is the right way and this is the wrong way. This is the system that works and this is this is what works for us here and now. And what works for you where you are could be totally different. But if we all pay attention to what is local, then like that could make a major difference. I think we can all agree that the food system that has fed, like, we've got so many people in this world, and it's there's something that's missing in what we need from it, right? It is feeding people. It's feeding 7 or 8 billion people, however many there are now. But in the long run, we're doing damage to our ecosystems.
Yeah.
And
it feels like the system is broken when you can go to the grocery store and bananas are cheaper for us than our locally Okanagan grown apples. Mm-hmm. It's like, why should bananas be so cheap when they've had to come from so far away? It feels like there's something wrong with the pricing system. And, if we all focus on trying to eat a little bit more locally, then maybe that will help fix things.
Yeah. These 3 topics really are so important to us that they've motivated a lot of our major life decisions. We're living on this small farm.
We're building a farm because
these ideas are things that have dominated our lives for years. Like with talking about it, and then it was kind of like, put up or shut up, right?
Yeah, and with getting this larger property, it is really important to us to actually farm it.
Yeah.
Because what is the most important way that we can contribute to a local food system? And for us, the answer is by, adding to it.
Yeah.
Like, the more local food there is available, the more eating locally is an option for people.
We'd love to hear what you have to say about this topic since it is so important to us. So leave a comment down below with your thoughts on any or all of those particular topics or anything else that's related.
Yeah, it's definitely a big one.
Yeah. And click subscribe to join our journey and check us out in the future. We have, a lot of work to do here because this property, hasn't been a farm in many, many years. So there's a lot of work getting it back online, and so there's lots of...
Yeah, we imagine there's going to be a lot of road bumps.
Yeah.
Lots
of infrastructure to get built and problems to sort through, and then a farm to actually implement. So if you want to see what it's like to actually start from scratch, to go from 0 to somewhere, then check us out.
Then laugh at these idiots.
Yeah.
See you guys next time.
Later.